Hey loves, today's guest isn't just building a skincare brand, she's helping people reclaim their confidence. She started out with a background in biotechnology and spent years working in the pharmaceutical industry. But along the way, she noticed a massive problem. People were constantly using makeup as a quick fix while completely ignoring the actual health of their skin. Instead of just accepting that, she decided to fix it. She took her science background and her passion for beauty and founded Bandari Beauty and Luna Medi Spa. Over the last 8 years, she has personally guided the brand to help over 40,000 clients transform their skin, and in the process, transform how they feel about themselves. But her story is about more than just great products. She's a certified esthetician, a brilliant marketer, and an award-winning voice in the business world. Recognized on the Forbes over 30 under 50 list and named one of the top 40 under 40 women, she has built a massive, fearlessly loyal community simply by keeping things real, honest, and authentic. Ladies and gentlemen, Maureen Bandari. Hi, Maureen.
Maureen in the flesh. Hi.
Finally, after a lot of reschedules.
Are you free now? No.
No.
Next week?
No.
Let me look at my calendar. But glad to be here finally.
Thank you for doing this.
Thank you
now
so
to
much
just
for
dive
inviting me.
Definitely. We had to have you here.
Yes.
Now to just dive right into it, take us back to the beginning. Who is Maureen Bandari before Bandari Beauty?
Oh my God, that Maureen Bandari of that time was just a nice, naive, but extremely focused young woman. I am someone who has always believed in the education system.
Okay.
My dad was a lecturer, my mom was a teacher.
Wow.
Yes, so in my household, you had to read, you had
Books
to
were a
study.
must.
And I love what my dad used to do because we were 6 at the time. And he
You
had...
were 6 children.
Yes, so we lost our brother in 2012.
Okay.
So he used to identify who are very intelligent. Okay, you guys are going to be the books people.
Okay.
So you'll wake up at 5:30, you start studying.
Okay.
Your playtime is almost kind of like measured.
Okay.
Because you have to come back, go
And study.
and study and,
Okay.
and stuff like that. If you're good in games, you know,
He
he
would
mentors you.
mentors you in that direction.
in that direction.
Okay.
So for me, I've always believed in education. I wanted to be a doctor at some point.
Hence the biotechnology.
Yeah, because now I didn't get straight A's. I ended up getting an A-. So it's just
Wait,
like
to study medicine, you have to have an actual
straight
AA.
A's at that time.
Oh, wow.
Right now, I don't know, you know, because with parallel programs and stuff, it might be possible. But during my time, you need to have straight A's. So I ended up getting like an A-. But I told my dad...
Smart children, we're sorry.
We're just being...
Humble.
But really, when that did happen, I just told my dad, you know what? I might not be doing my medicine, but can I at least do something to do with sciences?
Yes.
So that's how then I ended up, you know, in KU, kuna masomo, and did biotechnology. So immediately after that, you know, went into Big Pharma. I was based in Nyeri County.
How did you land back in there? We're going to have to know how you landed back here.
Yeah, but then now I ended up again in Mombasa where
Okay.
I practiced for around 5 years. And then, you know, became a mom, became a wife. And midway, I was just like, you know what? I feel like there's something bigger that I'm yearning
That is calling
for.
you
Yeah,
for.
yeah. And that's how Bandari Beauty kind of became like a hustle, but then became the main hustle.
So looking back to when even the Bandari Beauty vision came, you were working in pharmaceuticals, as
Yes.
you said, in Nyeri, in Mombasa,
Yeah.
while still creating content online.
Yes, I was a blogger.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to understand. How
Yeah.
was that, and what did that teach you around the business world and people as well?
Yeah. So initially, I generally didn't even know what blogging was. I used to take pictures of my outfits and post on Facebook.
Okay.
And then
Oh, Facebook OGs. You're the ones.
please don't show my age. So we used to post on Facebook, and then one time a friend of mine who had gone to the UK, and UK obviously had advanced in terms of blogging and creating
Definitely.
content. So he reached out to me and he was like, you know, I see girls here in the UK doing what you do, but they don't post on Facebook. They post on blog posts. And I was like, what is that?
Okay.
So I went on, Googling and searching
What are
and
blog
understanding
posts?
what is blogging and whatnot, and trying to figure out, do we have bloggers in Kenya? That's how I even ended up being friends with my best friend, Nancy Mwai. Yeah, because by then she was already doing
a blogger.
it. Yes, and we didn't have like a lot of people. I think the most famous bloggers of that time were blogging around politics and gossip, but we didn't have like fashion or tech or it
wasn't yet a thing at that time.
Yeah, it wasn't a thing. So we ended up being friends. I started learning a lot from her. I was, doing like street photo shoots using my phone and going to the cyber to upload.
Oh my
while
God,
studying.
because there were no like
I
laptops
didn't
that you
have
would.
a laptop.
Uh-huh.
You know when you are applying for scholarship and you're like, oh, I come from a humble background. My dad is a peasant farmer. You know those things.
Yes.
I was literally living that life. So I was in third year, if I remember correctly, 2011. That's when I started blogging.
They're calculating your age. Don't worry.
Hey, where? But anyway, I'm sitting here with Gen Zs. So then I was studying while blogging. I remember at one time, my dad was so pissed because my grades almost like started dropping
because of the blogging.
Hip hop dance groups.
Oh.
I was busy.
You moved from being book smart to a little bit of being street
enjoying
smart
and wondering
life.
what is happening. Especially when coming from a strict SDA household. And then now you're thrown into the
world.
You
want to explore everything.
I was dancing hip hop. We were entertaining, students and lecturers and guests in KU whenever they come. I was living outside of the school. We didn't get like the hostels. So I'm literally becoming a young adult in Nairobi. Wait, is Kahawa Nairobi still? It is.
Kahawa, yeah, it is.
Yes, in Nairobi. Yeah, nowadays you can say, no.
Uko si Nairobi.
I said my outcasts.
Yeah.
So, so I was literally discovering life, I would say. And that period was very critical now that I think about it, because you get to learn how to, live with people.
Definitely.
Which is the most important thing I've come to realize, that most people nowadays are totally out of touch. So you get to live with people. You get to understand, how can I look at you without you saying a word and know that you're not okay.
Yeah.
And I feel like I learned a lot of that during that particular time. And by the time I was leaving, obviously blogging was not, something that was giving us income.
Yes.
Neither did we know it could give you
income.
So immediately I just knew I'm going to go to corporate and have a job.
And also considering how you were raised, schooled, then this.
I cannot tell my dad, and now thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Here's your degree, and then off I go.
I couldn't do that. So I then ended up into corporate, and I worked for, I would say, 6.5 years.
Okay.
Before then I made a decision to quit and focus on my business.
And would you say the 6 years that you worked in corporate really built and groomed you for getting into business on your own?
Absolutely. And I always tell people, if you can get an opportunity to even intern, please take it, because the way later on you come and realize how putting in structures makes sense. When you're in a work environment and there are structures there, there are rules, sometimes you feel like, hey, namuna nisumbua, like what is this?
But when you start your own business, you realize, now I see why those structures exist. Yes.
It was there. I see why
tell
we
me about it. Wow.
I see why we kept training all the time. I see why, this hierarchy of
different positions, different people. Yeah, it's very important.
Politics, you start understanding it as well. So definitely everything then ends up adding up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, with you, I'd like to take a different approach for this. Let's dive more on what you're currently doing.
Yeah.
For the audience to really see what a day in the life and the life of Maureen Bandari as the CEO of Bandari Beauty and running a business, 2 businesses, is. So how does your day look like, if we are to get a glimpse of what a day of Maureen Bandari looks like?
Oh my God. So maybe instead of giving a day, I can give an idea of what a week can look like.
Sure.
Most times I'll wake up about 6:15 thereabout.
Okay.
Because, hey, I was told as you age, I don't know, we age how, I decided, let me go back to the gym. So I mostly go to the gym around 6:30 and obviously get there by 7 and, interact with so many. I got to realize the gym is the place to network.
You've met people?
I've met people. I've met people. So immediately after that, I go back home, take breakfast. But one of the things that I have to do immediately I get home is do a morning debrief with my team.
Oh.
So we normally have like a 10 a.m. morning debrief where we get to understand, and that is the management team. And because they had different functions and I'm just one person, I can't be everywhere.
Yes.
So you're able then to know what is happening in marketing, what is happening in sales, what is happening in finance, what is happening in e-commerce, and also getting in touch with my PA. What am I doing this week? Because sometimes you can book 3 meetings.
3 meetings within the same hour and you're like, oh.
Actually, the reason why I ended up having a PA, that's what exactly happened.
Oh, really?
I was in the office and then 3 people arrive. I have a meeting with you. I'm like, oh my God. I need someone to organize my life. I need someone to organize my life.
I've been there.
So then depending on the day, because nowadays what I've scheduled for myself, I realized when you really love something and you're passionate about your job, then it doesn't seem like work. So you can easily focus on it and forget relationships and forget family and forget children and forget.
Because you love it too much, it becomes part of your routine.
Yes.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby.
Actually.
So you're not realizing you're in the office up to 12 midnight.
See, I've done that a lot.
Yeah.
I've slept in the office one time and I'm like, wow.
But
I need
we
a
should
life.
not even advocate for it. Balance should be a thing. So this year, what I've really done is Monday to Wednesday, I'm very active in the office. And then Thursday, I can shoot content or decide if I want to be on the floor. And then Friday, literally anything outside of my day-to-day work. So it could be coming to places like this, the podcast.
Yes.
It could be meeting my friends. And I'm sorry, I'm that person now who schedules like meeting friends.
Meeting with friends.
Because
it's necessary.
It's necessary,
yes.
and you want to have that good balance. So most times I'll work from home a bit so that I'm able to respond to my emails. I'm able to respond to my WhatsApps. Because again, nowadays it's becoming like a good model of communication. If I have my to-do list, so we normally have a place at work where we can have the to-do list.
Yes.
And majority of the time, my PA is able to give me these are your to-do lists for the day. It could be getting in touch with a certain supplier. And most times it involves the relationship building, I would say. So it might be having lunch even with someone I'm thinking of having business with. And then by the time now I'm going to the office, I'm able to go from one location to another. So for Sarit, because it's literally away from the HQ,
yes.
I'm able to plan a whole day in Sarit.
Or to just be at Sarit.
Yes. But now when I'm in Greenhouse, I'm able to, to multitask between Luna, Medical Spa, and the HQ, and the office as well. So it's around getting in touch with the employees, if we had projects to do, where are we with the projects?
Yes.
Or if you're not a direct reportee to me, then I'm able to have that touch point with your line
with
manager.
someone who is not directly reporting to you.
Yes. And sometimes I just make random rounds on the floor just to check on inventories, merchandising, how is it done? Are the SOPs followed that we have put in place? Or you're telling people you need to wear, this kind of uniform and you need to treat a customer a certain way, and then you come to the floor and it's not happening. So once in a week, you will randomly find me on the floor.
Okay.
Just saying hi to people, because people can even forget who you are. So sometimes you got to remind.
True.
Yes.
Now, you've mentioned the stores that you have, Sarit, Greenhouse, so that also the audience gets to understand the process.
Yeah.
Would you let us know the process of opening, from how you move from online to now physical retail? And what made you make the decision as well?
I feel like if it wasn't for my friends and my customers, I would probably have remained online. Because from my background of blogging, I really believed in the digital space. And I knew for a fact that there's nothing you can't do, or, even if it comes like converting people or audience into customers, I knew how to do that digitally.
Online, yes.
So really convincing me to move from that platform to having a brick and mortar was not easy, but because my work involved, asking customers to send me pictures of themselves,
yes,
I then ended up having the modern woman who is a bit reserved, especially the Muslim women, were the ones who really pushed me out of it. Because someone will ask you, what do you want to do with my photos after this? So, you have no answer for that. Because genuinely, it's just going to stay in my phone.
It just stay on your phone, but...
Or I delete it.
Yes.
So someone would be like, okay, can I come to your house? You just have a look at my skin.
And they are not comfortable sending photos.
Yeah. And then now also for me, I'm uncomfortable to have everybody come to my house.
Yes.
So it wasn't making sense. And then my two friends were already in the, store business. Like they had different businesses, but they had physical stores. So I think they played a very big role in making me calm and answer all my questions. Like, where do people get rent? Does it mean I have to employ 20 people?
You had a lot of questions in regards to it, yes.
Yes, I had a lot of questions. But, now since they had a lot of experience, then they were able to guide me through, this is how you pay your rent. You can hire the immediate need of the business. So that could be maybe like a receptionist and maybe someone to do digital content and then someone to talk to the customers. And then for me, I can easily supplement that.
Yes.
So I figured, okay, it's not so bad.
Okay.
But because remember, I really believe in the education system. I was just like, I am not going into this blindly. So I joined Centonomy.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so with Centonomy, then I was able to learn how to, run a business. Basically. So by the time I was opening physically, I didn't feel now,
you were equipped enough.
Yes. I was still afraid, but not to the level that I was before making that step.
Yes.
But opening a store, I can tell you need a checklist. You need a checklist.
Of a lot of things.
Yes. And don't start so big. If possible, just start where you are and then see how the business, morphs into something.
How is it managing Bandari Beauty and Medispa? Is there synergy? Is it hard? Is it complicated? But overall,
I think it's so symbiotic for both businesses because all of them are in aesthetics and skincare to be specific. And the reason why I went the spa way is that sometimes when you get customers with specific challenges, topical products can only do so much. And then also, even if they solve the problem, it might take longer. So the lead time is very high. So if you are in a spa and getting a certain treatment, you can cut down that time into maybe, let's say if you were to use topical products for 4 months to see changes with your hyperpigmentation, you can easily do something like a chemical peel in the spa and reduce that time, between now and when you can get to see results. So what used to happen in my case, I used to send people to different spas in Nairobi. And now...
and you realize you're giving away money.
That, but also, sometimes, when they go somewhere and then they come back complaining to you...
Because you referred them.
Yeah. Oh, like I went to that spa. Oh, I don't know. They're like this. They're like that. And then you realize you're constantly putting out fires about businesses that don't belong even to you.
Yes.
So I wanted to control my ecosystem and my own clients. Plus, obviously, control the money.
Lovely.
Because you want to spend less to acquire this customer, then have them for a very long time within your businesses. So, in 2024, we then opened Luna in October. Yes.
Now, in Bandari Beauty, you sell different varieties of skincare brands and brands in general.
Yeah.
But you have your own skincare line.
Yes.
Could we understand why you started it? It's not an everyday that you see an African Kenyan woman start their own skincare brand. More so it's really doing very well in the competitive market of other skincare brands that are there. So could we understand the decision and how risky it was and even the journey of the formulation and the whole process?
So in 2019, actually, that's when I made the decision immediately. So I started the business in 2018.
Okay.
By 2019, I already knew I want to start
Your own
my
skincare
own,
line.
but also because we started with makeup and skincare, I wanted to just focus on the skincare part.
Okay.
And with that focus then came, what if I also had my own? Because then I was constantly dealing with customers who have specific issues that I was privy to. And then now I'm getting a situation where I'm giving myself more work trying to find products that can suit these particular issues. So then I decided, okay, you know what? I need to figure out how to do this on my own. And then in 2020, we started now the journey of finding, a lab, first of all, and then someone who can help us formulate, because at that time I wasn't a formulator, but I just had information on what customers might need.
Okay.
So I looked around in Kenya at that time, genuinely, especially considering I was in Mombasa. I didn't know any lab at all.
You didn't even anyone to
Yeah,
begin
like
with.
right now I can actually manufacture in Kenya.
Oh.
Because I've come to know so many people who, some of them are their stockist, but then also, you get to work with people to a point where you understand that Kenya has talent, Kenya has the facilities, so it's
and the resources to make it work.
Exactly. So at that time, I wasn't privy to any, so I decided to go the China way.
Okay.
But I knew for a fact, with my son's background, with where I was in business, with my visibility online, I had to do it right. So it meant getting qualified skincare formulators, getting certified labs, making sure your products are certified with KEBS, you are paying your excise duty and whatnot.
That must have been costly.
It was costly and took a long time.
How long did it take?
We were launching the line in 2022.
And you started in 2020?
The idea started in 2019.
Oh, wow.
And that's why to date we only have two SKUs. But we might add one more. We might add one more very soon, or at least this year. But then at the same time, you start getting to a point where now you have your own in-house. There is work that is involved towards creating that.
Yes.
And then you're retailing other brands. So getting that balance.
I can imagine. That's why I brought that question.
Yeah, getting that
you're
balance.
retailing other brands and you're selling your own.
Yeah.
The competitive.
Well, but the good thing for me, I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
If other people look at it that way outside, it will be such a shame.
Okay.
But for me, at the end of the day, the money goes to one place.
It goes to you. Either way,
Yeah,
so you're good to go.
So it then helps me remove that part of this is my own, so I have to prioritize it.
Yes.
And then focus more on what is right for the customer. Because I know sometimes online I used to get comments from my audience whenever I post. So we have a cleanser and a sunscreen.
Okay.
So whenever I could post a competing cleanser or sunscreen, someone would be like, why are you not posting yours? And then I'm just like, if I want to talk about a product or a sunscreen or a cleanser that can fit someone with acne, and I know mine has a limitation to a specific group of people, then why am I preventing myself from
and even
educating
your customers to get the access to the products that they actually need.
Because I have to constantly educate them, and I can't educate them and just focus on my own only. It has to be customer first. These are the needs that you have, and this product that I stock, including mine, they can solve different issues.
Yeah.
So depending on who you are, the issues that you have, then you're able to get something in the store.
What other investments went into Bandari Beauty? And by investments, I like, for example, I like the way you said you went to Saiton.
Yes.
You had to invest back in your education.
Yes.
Did that happen again when you were starting Bandari skincare line? And what other forms of investments, upskilling skills, money as well, did it go for this to become a reality? So that our audience can really understand the magnitude at which this really took.
Yeah. So for me, I struggle with mediocrity sometimes.
Okay.
A mediocrity in this sense, whereby if I see you have a podcast, I don't have to do it the same way that you do it. I need to understand to what lengths can someone do a podcast. and then chase that.
Okay.
In a way that you can be so different, you can be unique.
Yes.
You know, and still show people that it's very possible. These things are not just meant for people outside of Africa or outside of Kenya. So one of the things that I had to do was constantly go back to school. I think I've been on so many accelerator programs.
And advanced placements, micro MBAs.
I have been to Strathmore. I have been to, like, there's an accelerator program by Wild and GIZ, the German association that supports like SMEs. I went back to school in Dubai to study aesthetics.
I was just about to ask you that. How was that? Why that decision?
Again, lack of exposure sometimes. Because when I was looking for a school to go to, I really couldn't put my finger on a school here.
In Kenya.
So I knew I had to find it elsewhere. And that boils back to what I was talking about. When I want something, I really don't focus on who is doing what. It is to what magnitudes can I, even if it's in Nigeria, if it's in SA, if it's in Dubai, in the US, you name it, we are doing it. And I remember that time, even messaging people on social media, especially the aestheticians that I knew in other countries. And that is when I knew, they get keeping that happens.
People keep information to themselves.
I was DMing people even in the US, like, where can I go to school? And then someone would tell you, I don't know, just research.
And I'm like, you're like,
but
no.
You're honest that you went to school somewhere.
Yes.
And even in the States, they don't want to tell you anything. So I had to go on Google and try and figure out, okay,
oh my God,
which affordable school can I go to? Which, surprise, surprise, education is not cheap.
When your dad was paying it, you did not feel it. But
that help. I don't know whether you will relate, but we used to have like
now what does that mean?
So it's when you get some certain grades and you are qualified to go to the university, the government can sponsor you to go and give you money for survival, for paying
and
school
it's called
fees. HELB. I don't know whether it's
does HELB stand for something?
Yeah, higher education, something. Loans board.
Loans board. Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a loan that you have to pay back.
So it's like in the US, the way
the student something.
Financial aid, and then you pay it back.
Yes. So at that point, you're not really feeling it because you are able to pay your school fees. You even have some pocket money to, figure out what is this clubbing all about. Now you have to pay it from your pocket. You have to pay the air flights and whatever, because I was studying from here, so I was doing like online classes, and then I had to travel for a whole month, like 3 times, to go and do practicals and stuff like that. So
how long was your time in Dubai?
Like if you put it together, it's like 2.5 months.
Oh, okay.
But the whole course took me like a whole year. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were flying back and forth to Kenya and Dubai?
Yes. And living there and leaving my family here, actually, and staying there for like a month.
But it was a good experience, I'd say.
It was a good experience. And immediately after that, it opened up my eyes in regards to what I really want to do for my business and how I want to do it differently. Because I realized the exposure that you get, it's so unlike any other. So you're able to understand how other people think. First of all, even how other people think about Africans. Okay. That is also
because you are in Dubai.
Yeah.
So I can imagine.
So you understand where you're placed in the geopolitics of everything.
The way more white people are there wondering, how is this Kenyan here?
Yes. And then, now, in my class especially, so you normally have to do like practical sessions. And all the models are
white. Or rather light skin.
Yeah, light skin. They could be Caucasians, they could be, Emiratis or stuff like that. So I knew at the back of my mind, if I come back to Nairobi, I'm never going to find this type of client in any of my business. So I went to my trainer and I told her, can I at least try and find African models? And she was like, girl, you just arrived here. I don't know where you're going to get them from. And I went back to this power in the internet. Digitally, I think I can do something. So I went back to my Instagram
and asked.
I just asked, is there any African or Kenyan who is in Dubai, does not mind being a model? I got 35 people.
Oh, wow.
Yes. We put them in a group.
Nice.
Yeah, so I used to send them like my schedule, and then whoever is free will tell me, and then they'll come. I'll now practice. So by the time I came back to Nairobi, I was actually working on my ideal target skin.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Now, you've made great decisions in regards to your business, in regards to your growth.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to understand what are some of the mistakes that you made building your business, building yourself.
Yeah.
And what are some of the mistakes that you learned from? Some of the mistakes maybe you might have regretted.
Yeah.
The things that you'd say, if I didn't do this, I would
Yes.
have been somewhere better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So number one, not having a bank account in time. Yeah, don't look at me like that.
Isn't that the number one thing you do when you are...
You would think, but there's also...
You would think.
There's also Safaricom Till. Yeah, so when I was getting into the entrepreneurship journey, that is when till numbers were like a big thing.
Do you know the most surprising bit? I don't have a till number for my company.
What do you
but I
have?
have a bank account. Everything is paid straight to the bank account.
Well, now we have the pay bills and whatever, but at that time,
Tills were
the thing. And then, when you're starting out, it's not like you're making millions and millions of shillings. Your till can accommodate the small thousands.
Numbers can't accommodate millions.
It can.
I'm just confirming.
It can, but I don't know to what extent. But
Okay.
It can. But so at the beginning, I was just okay with the till number.
Okay.
And then also because you're bootstrapping, you don't have investors and whatnot.
Yes.
So whatever money comes in is what you're using to buy product. So it's really not sitting in the till number.
Till number that long.
So the need to have a bank account honestly did not cross my mind.
So when did you feel like it became a mistake?
When I opened a physical store.
Okay.
So when I opened a physical store, because I was very active online, I genuinely did not understand the level of my influence at all. Because I was operating from my closet, rarely go out, working day and night, sleeping late, trying to make this dream get off the floor.
So when you opened the store,
So when
you had an influx of customers.
I was not expecting it at all. Because we did like a launch party of some sort.
Yes.
They cleared the shelves.
No.
They cleared the shelves. I'm telling you, I only had money with 0 products. I had money with 0 products because they have cleared the shelves. Now I'm getting to realize, oh my God, I need to meet the demand. Meaning I need to buy more.
More.
Do I have money? No.
What do you mean no?
Because I only have the money that I've made from the business. But now if I'm to buy enough to service the demand that I was having, I need to buy more. So that means I need to have more money.
More money. You need to spend more than the amount of money that came in.
Exactly.
Yes.
So where can I get this money? At the bank. Do I have a bank account? No.
So a loan from the bank.
Yeah. So I went to the bank, and the bank. I remember that RM is still my friend today. And every time she reminds me, oh my God, you are so naive. You just came to the bank like, can you guys give me money?
And you've never even opened a bank account with them?
Just like, okay, now listen. We will start by opening a bank account for you. So we did that, but she was just like, you know what? Give us the statement for your till number, but we can only give you money after like, let's say 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So that we see how much you're making.
Consistency, yes.
Exactly. I had to make it work with that.
With what you had.
Yeah, so that also kind of slowed things down a little bit. So for me, honestly, the moment you start a business, just open a bank account immediately.
The records are really going to
Yes, even if it's
help.
50K, it doesn't matter. It can easily show growth over time. So I lacked that and really struggled for like 6 months to make ends meet before, now the bank ended up coming through for me at some point. And the other one would be hiring, like people management and hiring the right talent. I have made some mistakes.
You're not alone, same here.
I have made some mistakes where someone will come and say, oh, please give me, I can do any job. And then you're like, okay, come.
Especially being an influencer,
Yes.
you get a lot of DMs around it, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And then now when you're at work, you realize there is that disconnect between how someone was seeing you online and now you're like a no-nonsense person in the workplace. This needs to be done. This needs to be done this way. And they're not connecting with the soft-spoken person that they see online.
Also online.
Yes. Though I'm more or less the same. Maybe my team here
your
can
team
tell
will
you.
let us know.
Sometimes I feel like I'm more or less, like I end up creating a friendly environment, which over the years I've come to realize not necessarily the most ideal. You'd rather have structures from the get-go, because then you end up having this extreme personal relationship with your employees to a point where when they want to leave, oh, you're feeling so sad, why are you leaving, and stuff like that. So from the get-go, understanding this is what I need from an employee.
Yes.
These are the qualifications, for example, I need for XYZ roles. And then once they come into the business, there are structures that govern them.
Yes.
And you have that slight distance, like
between you and
them,
employee.
so that you're not intertwined in friendships.
Yeah, true.
Because that one can make you feel a certain way.
True. And
also can make people disrespect you as well.
Okay.
So from the get-go, just have structures, and then as you're hiring for the right roles, ensure that everyone is doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Okay.
Yeah. And also, I would say the last one, which is something that I'm still struggling right now, is growing too fast.
Okay.
I've come to understand over the years that it's better to have calculated, slow but steady growth
than fast hires. Okay.
Because it can easily expose some of the loopholes in your business.
How so?
So, for example, let's say, and I used to deny that I'm not growing too fast until recently, or rather by November, December, when someone was like, okay, the business has existed for 8 years, yes, but if you look at the time you opened a physical store, that was in 2021. So in 2021, we opened a very small store in Greenhouse. And then in 2022, we moved to a bigger store.
In Greenhouse.
Yes. And in 2023, I'm going back to school for the first time. And then I come back and open Luna
Spa.
And then in 25, I'm opening Sarit.
Yes.
So within a period of 4 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So the business is
the
8 years, yes.
But
But there are many things happening
in the last less than 5 years.
Yes.
Is a lot.
So you'll find, yes, maybe you have processes. For example, if a product needs to leave the store, what is the process of that product leaving the store? But you're now having multiple stores. What is the process of the product leaving even this store to go to that store? And if you haven't really calculated that before, then that fast growth exposes that.
Yes.
Now you start reacting, I would say.
Because you're wondering, how are we this big and there's no process between this?
So now you're all over the place trying to ensure the two can talk to each other and whatnot. But I think, I thank God for us, because when we were scaling to Luna, it's literally in the same mall and same wing, just one is a floor above the other. So we were able to practice that earlier on.
Okay.
So by the time we were opening Sarit, then we didn't end up having those challenges. But it can really strain you, because then now you're like, okay, I have, employees who are slightly far from the HQ. How do I manage the culture of the business?
Yeah.
How do I make sure the culture is across board so that those who are over there are not behaving differently, even, serving customers differently from those who are in HQ? So you realize as the business is really growing fast, there's just so many things that needs to be done behind the scenes. Yeah. So if I can advise anybody anything, just steady growth.
There was a time in my life when I didn't feel confident in my own skin. As a teenager, acne was something I struggled with for years. And if you've ever gone through that, you know it's more than just skin. It affects how you see yourself and how you show up in the world. For me, being on camera was always part of my dream. But confidence doesn't come easily when you're battling your skin each and every day. When I discovered Caravee, that's when I started a simple skincare routine that became a turning point in my life. My skin improved, my confidence grew, and for the first time in a long time, I felt comfortable in my skin again. Today, it's incredible that I don't just use Caravee. I get to partner with a brand that was genuinely part of my journey. And right now, I'm loving their new Caravee Vitamin C range. Vitamin C helps brighten your skin, improve skin tone, and bring back that healthy glow. And Caravee combines it with their 3 essential ceramides, which helps protect and restore your skin barrier. So my loves, if your skin needs brightness, balance, and a little confidence boost, the Caravee Vitamin C range might just be the next step in your skincare journey. Because great skin isn't about perfection, it's about feeling confident in the skin that you're in. Stay smiling, loves. Now, just circling around the aspect of hiring, could you let us know what are your 3 top hires that you'd say someone who's starting a business you need to have, especially a product-based business?
Yeah.
You'd really need to have, whether you're doing it digitally, online, but you really need to have that person in place to make sure that systems are running.
Yeah.
And then as well as what was your fallback when you realized you're growing too fast? Did you make some people redundant? Did you have to?
I'm the worst person to fire people. Like, I start thinking about your family. Oh my God, you could be shown, but you have dependents.
Which is human and good of you.
I know, but now at the end of the day, if you're a leader, sometimes you have to think about your business first.
Yeah.
Before other
the
people.
tough decisions that need to be made.
And sometimes delaying some of these decisions can easily cost
Harm
you.
your business.
But I'm just a softie at heart. I'm the worst. I believe in people you can change. I can train you. I can capacity build you to be great.
That is why HR comes in.
Yeah, I had to have that very, very early. But I would say the first person to hire has to be a salesperson. Because especially if you're in retail, then sales is the business.
There's no sales, there's no business. Yes.
So you have to find someone who, and sometimes, especially the sales job, they don't necessarily have to have a lot of experience. But from my experience, you need someone with personality.
How so?
Because now, sometimes you can make me buy this suit and it's for men. Because of personality, how passionate you are.
You are about
exactly. Even if you don't know what threads were used,
but
what
the way
the
you
material,
really articulate
exactly.
it. Yeah.
So you need someone with personality. For sure, you need a sales team that can bring in the sales. From the get-go, make sure your accounts are on point. So I would definitely say an accountant. At the very least, just have a salesperson and an accountant.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, then you need to understand, are you someone who is so good with marketing and digital?
Now,
and
your
especially
stronghold.
digital. Now, I was at least better with that. So I was not in like a hurry to hire for those positions until it got to a point where
you couldn't do it.
I can't do it anymore.
But you eventually hired people to do that.
Yes.
You see, I'm struggling with that because I'm good at that and I'm like, I'm not leaving it.
No, but you train them to understand how you do it. Although nowadays I have Gen Zs, well, you tell them something, it's only to that millennials. No, nowadays we don't do it like that. So you also have to be someone who can take,
positive feedback, yes.
And be like, okay, just do it. I see how you're doing it.
Okay.
But I know we got here because of how I was doing it. So don't be extremely dismissive.
We are here because of me.
Yeah, but we can meet somewhere in the middle. Yes.
Okay. Now, you really emphasize on the fact that education was a key part of your journey.
Yeah.
And you went into corporate. You were very much aware that that's the path that you're taking. But at some point, you then decided to resign and then entered into business.
Yes.
That's not a decision that every Kenyan, every African per se would make because employment is comfortable, I would say, and it's secure to some people.
Yeah.
So how did you make the decision, and why did you? We know why you made the decision, but why you had gotten to a point,
to that level.
To the level. I think this is my time to start my business, and then you went ahead to bootstrap. You can also tell the audience what bootstrapping is and why you made the decision to bootstrap.
So in 2019, so I had started the business a year in. And in Kenyan culture, you need to have a side hustle. So to be honest, when I was starting also, it was more of to solve a problem, but also like to have something on the side.
Okay.
But as the business kept growing, then you start realizing, the things that you want to solve are really things that you hold very dear to you. Because again, at that time I was doing makeup, yes, but Mombasa, I was also getting exposed to a lot of bleaching and skin lightening going on. You would go to a beauty store and they just don't have your shade, and they'll just sell to you the one that they have because, you know, that's what you need to use. Or sometimes you get people who are supposed to be married and then they're told you need to stay in the house, no sun exposure for long so that you can continue being a certain shade.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was a thing that was really bothering me at that time. And I figured, you know, I'll just be myself. Come on, guys. If I'm dark now, what can I do?
What can you do?
I need to remain as I am. But then over time, you start realizing you're extremely passionate about something. And I was also very, very passionate about creating content as well. And then slowly you start realizing when you're waking up to go to work, the joy is not the same. And I didn't realize that until I had a life coach.
You got a life coach?
But wait, before you think I was so advanced by that time, where I used to work, there's someone who had left and was pivoting in her career.
Okay.
So she was in marketing, but she wanted to pivot into being a coach, a life coach.
Okay.
So we got introduced by a mutual friend of mine who used to be a colleague of mine. And you see when you're studying something, but then you kind of have to practice now after graduating. You need to practice. So she didn't charge me at least. Hey, Jesus. Yo. So she was just like, I need to practice with like 3 people
you were the
or
pet.
something. Yeah,
Okay.
I was a very good pet. And she told me, you know, we can do this. I think it was for like 6 months.
Okay.
I was like, great. So it's during those sessions that I came to realize whenever I talk about me as a wife and a mom, I'm so, you know,
jovial.
I'm jovial. I'm talking about what my daughter has done. If I'm talking about my business, I'm just like, oh my God, you can't believe what happened between me and this client. If I'm talking about content creation, I'm just like, and I remember that time I was nominated for Fashion Blogger of the Year Coast Awards, which I won.
Nice.
So all these other things are just giving me joy. Then when she's like, okay, so what about your work? I'm like, it is just there. So she made note of that. And she was like, you know, I've noticed over time when it's time to talk about your work,
you're not as happy
you're
about
not as
it.
work. You might need to think about it. And that's the thing I love about coaching, actually. Unlike mentorship where someone knows something more than you, with life coaching, you figure out the things by yourself. They don't tell you what to do. They just point out.
And then you realize it when you're like, okay.
And then now they give you homework to go figure it out by yourself. So they're not telling you, oh, Sean, I think you can look good in green. They'll tell you, I think you might look bright in bright colors. You might look a certain way. Now it's you to go discover what colors
that color that is.
Which I feel like is really helpful because it makes you work on the things that you need to work on. But then now with that realization, then I also realized what now I was making from my side hustle was matching my salary. And I was just like, hey, maybe
we might have to rethink this situation.
Because now I'm from 9 to 5 working, and then after 5, that's when I was doing the business from my closet. So I can imagine the time difference in terms of the amount of time I was giving my business and the amount of time I was giving work. I was making the same. So I was just like, you know what, maybe if I put my
more time in the business,
then it can happen. So when I shared with my coach at that time that I might want to transition, she said then, you know, one of the things that affects so many African people or literally humans in general, if you're coming from a well-paying job and then you're quitting that to try something, there's no guarantee it might work. But for me, thank God, I had started while in the business, so we had proof of concept.
You had proof of concept.
Yeah, that it can work. But then at the same time, remember you're accustomed to a certain lifestyle.
True.
You can feel like, oh, I need to meet Sean at Java and we have a drink.
You don't have the money.
So you need to make sure your lifestyle remains the same.
Yes.
Your needs are catered to. So we then came up with a plan to quit in 6 months. Me and the coach, life coach.
Okay.
To quit in 6 months.
Okay.
So I had to save almost like 100K every month for 6 months.
From the salary
from
you
the
were
salary
earning.
that I was earning. So that by the time I'm quitting, and if anything happens to the business, then I can survive.
You can survive
for a few
months before. Okay.
Yeah. So by the time I finished the 6 months, I then decided to quit, and then at that point, then bootstrapping then means you're using your savings, you're using money that you have access to. It could be family money, it could be from friends, and stuff like that. So I had around, I would say 350,000 saved.
Okay.
That I decided, okay, you know what? This is what
I can risk this to the business. Yes.
And do it. And let's just be honest. Sometimes when you're married, you have a cushion.
That was about to be my next question. Where was your husband in this?
He was very much present and very supportive. But then now you're able to know if it doesn't work out, at least I'm living under someone's roof. I'm the mother to your child.
You won't live outside, so you're good.
Or if it goes so bad, I can go back home to Kisii. But my dad was not happy about that decision.
I can imagine.
He almost fainted. So it was hard for him.
Okay.
Which was very interesting because then immediately after, as I was doing my business, I used to report to him all the time, like, oh, we have closed at this number, we have closed at this revenue, because I just wanted him to see.
You wanted the approval that you're doing better than how you used to in corporate.
One time my coach asks me,
girl,
you're looking for approval. And then that's when I stopped and I was just like, you know what? I believed in this, so let me just
it's for you.
Do it.
I love the fact that you've brought up the whole African parent situation because we still live in Kenya. We are not abroad, guys.
Even last week, I was with my dad, not last week, last month. I was with my dad in a wedding for one of our family members. And it was like, you're sure you don't want to work with the UN?
Even after making it as much as you have, he's still wondering.
Yes, he mentioned that. And, when you do biotechnology, biochemistry, microbiology, you might end up in places like Caravee. It's like, even Caravee, you have not... It's like, hey, Dad, please, that ship sailed.
So how did you maneuver that then, and how are you still maneuvering that now? Because as you've said, you are successful at what you're doing in your business, but for some weird reason, there's still that push and pull situation. Yeah. And what advice would you give to someone who's in that situation? Because I myself still get a lot of DMs from people who are like, oh, my mom won't accept this. My dad will never even allow such a thing to happen. So how did you go about that?
I think for me, and I remember during that time, I called my dad and he didn't pick his phone. But when I called my mom to tell her what I've just done, first of all, okay, I don't know whether this would be good advice, but sometimes when you want to do it and then you tell them.
Ask for permission later.
Yeah, because
if you
sit because if you sit with them and then you're asking them,
you will doubt yourself.
You will doubt yourself. But also I believe in proving the concept first.
Okay.
Because then it's easy to even go to your parent and say, please just see, this is what I've managed to do so far.
Yes.
And it looks like this with this limited time. So imagine if I could have
more time.
So that you can also give them, because there are parents at the end of the day, you don't want to discard them over there, like, hey, those are your things. At least have some bargaining chip where you can say, I tried, and this is what I'm doing.
Give me the opportunity to.
Give me the opportunity to. So in my case, I called my dad, he didn't pick. I called my mom. My mom picked, and is this why you are calling your father? I said yes. Don't tell him. I will tell him myself. When we are in the house, I can know the moods and
so
see.
You had already done it before you even called them?
Yes. So it's my mom that told my dad. Because, for me, I would not have had the feelings. I would just have delivered the news. So my mom was like, your dad is sick. No. When we are together, I will figure out when he's happy. And then I tell him. So that's how we ended up arranging. But now they rarely bother me. Just once in a while when they remind me I could be working somewhere.
And that still happened even when you were married and with children.
Yeah, but
they still had a very big impact in your life.
But you see now you have to pick the right partner who supports you as well.
Yes.
Who doesn't see a woman's place as somewhere in a corner in a house and you can only do this much.
Yes.
So you need to have someone who also believes in what you want to achieve and is ready to support you. Because you can imagine when I was up and about going to buy in school, your partner has to take care of the child as the other parent. But you see now I'm also getting DMs of people telling me, so you have left your child with who? I'm like, with the dad.
With the dad, guys.
With the dad.
How old were you when you were married?
I think I was 27. I've been married for 15 years now.
And you felt that was
We've
the
been
right
together for 15
age?
years.
And you felt you were ready for marriage at that time?
At that time, if you ask me, yes, I
Okay.
feel like I was ready for marriage. But if I'm to advise people now,
You would
based on what I have seen
Okay.
out here, not necessarily just in my marriage or anything, I think getting married in your 30s is a good thing.
Is a better choice?
Because by that time, let me tell you, if you investigate most millennials, and by most I mean almost all, by the time you're in your 30s, you have pivoted so many times.
Yes.
The career you started with is not the one you're doing. The friends you had are not the same friends you have. The values you started life with are not the same values.
Okay.
You know, and what means a lot to you in your 30s meant nothing.
Nothing in your 20s.
So I feel unless you find someone with whom you're aligned in
And
terms
willing
of
to
what the
grow with.
future looks like luckily how I did, I think in your 30s when you're very sure of yourself, you have gone to all those concerts and you have done all these things and you're just ready to settle and create a family. I feel like 30s is where it's at. You're not too old.
What would you say is the one thing that helped your marriage for 15 years?
Well, we've been together for 15 years, married for 10.
Okay.
I would say understanding that we are individuals before we are one.
Okay.
So that your dreams, I don't have to stop your dreams because we are in this union and we're supposed to move this way.
Okay.
So yes, we're supposed to move this way, but I also recognize that you're Sean.
Yes.
And I am Maureen.
Yes.
And there are things that mean a lot to me that generally might not mean anything
To you. Yes.
But it's not in your space to come and tell me
don't do this.
Yeah, don't
it's
do
irrelevant.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
So I feel having a partner who is able then to figure out how do I support you in your journey of whatever you're doing without it necessarily making it about, oh, you know, a wife is supposed to be like this, a husband is supposed to be like this. You create your own rules, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's go through a little bit more of your awards.
Yes.
Let's talk about the awards that you've won, what they've meant to you, and
Yeah.
how big of an impact they made to your career. Yeah.
Well, to be honest, you know, when I said I won my first ever award when I was a fashion blogger in Mombasa, I realized I needed that vindication that I am doing something.
Okay.
And, you know, sometimes when you win an award, it's like telling you for sure we see you. And when I won it, and my life just did not change.
Everything remained the same.
Everything remained the same. And I am so happy it happened very early on because then it made me realize if you yourself, you don't believe you're great, no award will ever do it for you.
Yes.
You have to believe I am good with or without these awards. I know where I'm headed. I know what I'm doing. So if they come, well and good. If they don't, it doesn't devalue me. And, you know, at that time also, you're thinking awards come with money.
And you realize, you just get the certificate or a trophy. Yeah.
So I'm so happy it happened early in my career because then it was able to demystify so many things.
Okay.
And during that time, people based in Mombasa were not winning things. It's our counterparts in Nairobi who used to win. And, you know, you're not in close proximity to them to understand the impact in their lives or lack thereof. So you're just there in a small town wondering, what? So maybe I think if I won, I don't know, I will meet Christian Dior or somebody. I don't know. So the moment it happens, you're just like, Allah, I need to continue working hard. What is this? So after that, then you just realize, okay, if they come, they come. If they don't, I mean, my life doesn't change. And I feel like that is the attitude I've carried all along, even to the recent ones, where initially I used to be nominated and I don't do anything about it. I don't ask people to vote for
vote
me.
for you.
If you feel like, in fact, I used to come online and say, I'm nominated for this category and there are other amazing people in the category. You vote for whoever you want.
You're trying to be humble.
Not really. It's just that I had experienced a scenario where winning had not added the value I thought in my mind. So everything to me felt like vanity.
Okay.
So whether I win or not, it wasn't a thing.
Okay.
Until a friend of mine one time was like, I've seen you've been nominated. I think it was the Pulse Choice Awards for Business Influencer of the Year or something. And I told her, if people want to vote, it's fine. But me personally,
it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask for anything. And you're like, what? Can you be serious? You're going to do it. You're going to go on video and
ask for votes.
And I actually did. And
you won.
And I won. And then there was a Consumer Choice Awards. And I won that as well. And I liked the Consumer Choice Awards as well because then it's the consumers who are voting for you. So that is also very validating, to be very honest, because it's less about you and more about the brand and the impact that you're doing for them. I think then over time, by the time I was getting to be named the top 40 under 40 in 2025 was such a shock to me because I genuinely used to think those things are meant for specific people. There's a way they organize themselves or something. But when you start hearing like the people who are nominating you and you get to listen to a video where a judge was talking about how they ended up selecting you. And you just sit back and you're like, oh my God, I had not thought about it this way. And now the Forbes one, which came recently, I think that is the one that now has really made me look at awards differently.
Okay.
Because of mostly the messages you end up getting from people who tell you, I genuinely never thought people like us, and by us it's like little girls from the village. You know, you've come to Nairobi, you're trying to make it work, and you know, they identify with that and they can be, it's like a symbol of something that can aspire for. And over time you start realizing even winning these awards mean something, not necessarily to just me alone, but also the people who you serve, the people who, you know, look up to you and stuff like that. But I always say, actually, I'm not a role model to any guy. Musniweke those titles. They come with a lot of pressure. Allow me to make my mistakes and whatnot. But over time, you start realizing that. But I would say the biggest impact then in the business is it makes the business be more trustworthy, which when it comes to aesthetics and especially skincare, is a very, very important virtue to have.
Now, for our audience to understand what it really takes to be a founder and a CEO in 2026, what systems, routines, and habits do you have in place that really ground you as a founder to make sure that your businesses are running and also Maureen Bandari as a person is still running?
In 2026, it's getting tougher than when I started, for sure. Number one, you just need to have resilience like never before. Because anything can happen from anywhere. It could be things not working in your work. It could be employees stealing from you even. It could be social media. Things are happening. You just happen to say the wrong thing.
And you're being cancelled.
And you're being cancelled everywhere. It could be wars, like what is happening now. I haven't managed to ship in some goods. And, Dubai is a very prominent route for me when it comes to shipping. And then now you realize, okay, if I'm not able to ship from where I'm shipping from in a way that it can be cheaper for you, I might have to locally source the product. They might be more expensive. So already skincare is expensive already. So how am I convincing you to pay probably double the price? So you realize at any given time, there's something changing. There's something that needs a lot of your mind to be okay. You need to have a nice circle that you can easily fall back to. Like in this case, can either be friends or it could be other founders who are at the same level probably that you're in, so that they can understand each other's challenges that you have. So definitely you will need to have resilience and grit. That one, there is no other way of sugarcoating it because it can come in handy. And I remember this in 2024, we are going through something in the business. And everyone was panicking. Everyone was, so emotional about it. And I was very busy working
Trying to fix
actively on it. And I remember one of my ex-employees asking me, how come I've not even found you crying in your office? And I'm like, I have learned how to compartmentalize my feelings. I will know this is such a heavy load, but I don't have the time to cry at that time.
About it.
I will put it on the side. I will fix it. And then one day you can come and ask, Maureen, how are you? And then just tears.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how can you be strong
for the business.
Yes. But at the same time, if that is also not your strength, you can also have co-founders, who can handle some things that you're not good at.
Yeah.
So that is also very important. You need to be able to use discernment also, I would say. Because sometimes, especially for founders, and let me just speak for female founders, sometimes you're faced with things where you need to make a decision. And logically, the decision might be made a certain way, but your gut is telling you no. And you have to use a lot of that gut feeling or discernment to know, even if, let's say, Sean, you want to come and, be someone that I work with.
Yes.
In this case, could be consultancy. It could be you're supplying me with some very important things in the business. Then am I able to actually trust you to be able to have the same interest that I have for the clients that I am trying to work on? So slowly there's some things which you might end up sharpening along the way. There's some you need to have from the get-go. This one you need to have it. You need to understand how the mathematics happens. All of us didn't go to do CPAs and CPAKs.
You learn it along the way.
You have to learn along the way. So I would say grit for sure.
Okay.
And for most of us, especially female founders, listening to your gut.
Okay.
That's very important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Maureen, right here at Inspire, all our guests leave answering one question.
Yes.
What inspired you, or what still inspires you?
For me, honestly, at this point, me and poverty are just like, hey. And the
bag is the goal.
Because at the end of the day,
yes.
I was having a conversation with my dad early this year. To some extent, I feel like sometimes parents need some ass whooping sometimes because of their mindset, and how they think about things. So we were just having dinner and he goes on and on about some things. And from nowhere, I just start talking to him now as an adult and not your child. I'm like, but Dad, you are an enabler in these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. And he kept listening and nodding and listening and nodding. And eventually, so my dad is retired, but he still wants to work. And that thing was bothering me. So I was like, why can't you be like, Mom is retired. She's on TikTok. She's just enjoying.
Just be a retired parent.
Just be a retired parent.
Yes.
And my dad is like, no, even me as a man, I had aspirations, which I had to put on the side because of you guys. And right now, I feel like I have no child to take care of.
So he should
be
able
before I
to
start
do
being
it.
emotional, because that was such an emotional conversation. So I'm working to fulfill some things that I had as desires as a young man growing up. And for him, what he told me was his goal was to make sure his children don't start life where he started. And immediately I just kept quiet. So it really hit me so hard because I didn't know that was his desire to ensure that we as his children don't start life where he started. And he went ahead and said, because of how you guys have started life, I can die knowing my grandchildren will not start life where you guys have started life. And I sat back and I'm like, this is actually the legacy. This is now what is inspiring me. Because initially, obviously, you get inspired by the fact that you want to create change for others, which is okay. And then midway, you realize, oh my God, me and poverty don't want to meet anywhere. And then along the way again, you realize there is a bigger purpose that transcends you, the person doing it.
yes.
Because now you're doing it for your children and their children as well. And in most African settings, we don't get to create that generational wealth for our people. You go to school, start your thing, have your money, have your children, let the children come and do their own thing. But when you look at other nations and how they're packaging themselves, you generally don't want your kids to start, way behind where you started. So right now I have a renewed aspiration to ensure that his dream continues to be my dream as well. So that by the time I'm leaving, my child and their children don't get to start where I started. But at the end of the day, also impact when it comes to the people I lead, because you understand that, you could be 24 of you or 25 of you working for me, but each one of you has a wife, has children, has a husband.
Yes.
And those people have uncles and aunts and grandmas and grandpas, and they all depend on all of you.
Yes.
And that's why so far I feel like I really protect my business a lot, because I know if something happens to it, for example, it's not here tomorrow, I feel like I might survive, but I don't think I can live with the idea that the lives of the people that I lead, went a certain way. So there's a lot of purpose that is now coming up that I'm taking it as a personal mission.
That's
to
lovely.
to ensure that I see it through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now we will not replan and replan again. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. That was Inspire.